Oh, shattered that. Oh, what is up, YouTube? We are back with another day, back into the rhythm of things. Really enjoy Mondays. I know a lot of people don't like Mondays as much, but it really gets me back in my schedule, gives me things to like do back to back to back. The busier I am, the better I am. When I kind of get the Friday and Saturday, they're great creative energy days and days for me to like relax and get back into things. But like if I don't have structure, my creative brain is just like, fuck, dude. Like, it'll be like 1 p.m. and I'm like, what have I done today? Like, what am I doing? Like, and I realize like I have everything done, and it's kind of like, it's kind of that battle of like, you don't need to like continue to work like an ant. So it's like that old tool of holding on to like grunt work, like I feel like I need to do to grunt work. But it's also like when I don't fulfill that grunt work feeling, I get this like, oh bro, what'd you do with the day? It's like, well, you hung out with people and you had fun and it was a great creative day. Like that's okay too. But anyways, my ape brain works really well Mondays through Thursdays, just crush. So we got upper body day today. We're gonna rip that. We got a consult at 10:30. It is 9:30 right now, so we're gonna get as much done as we can before that 10:30 consult. Then we'll come back and rip some of it. I was able to get a lot of it in with the athletes this morning, a lot of the smaller accessory stuff. I enjoy doing that, kind of with them, like when they're holding their longer stretches or this frog stand hold that I'll show you. Getting that done, honestly, before the workout. They're doing it interset, and then I'll do my workout and then come back and hit it again later if I have to, if I really don't finish. So incline bench today. Then we got some rows, some frog stand stuff, some impulses, and then some arm work, shoulder care. So pretty fun day today. We had some spike ball this morning. It's 60 degrees outside in Minnesota right now in February. Insane. So I'm going to spend as much time as physically possible outdoors today, getting some sunlight in. We're going to go hit outdoors. We're going to see how muddy that is, but I mean, it's 60 degrees, man. I don't know what else we can do. And then tomorrow we fly out for Florida, and we'll be in the sun the whole time. So looking forward to it. Not a ton of messages today. Got this sick Lil Wayne shirt. We found that, and we're going to rip it. Let's go. 2 plate elevated this week. I'm just going to keep fucking around with that plate elevation until we can just do it with an incline bench. But it's kind of cool. I like this 2 plate elevated bench, but we've already done our warm-ups. We got 15 rep maxes this week. So I've been kind of ebbing and flowing. We've done this for a while, but I've never gone as many rep maxes as I have done in this kind of cycle of programming. So it's a little bit of an experiment. Usually I stay under 10 reps typically. So I'd like work it from like a 10 reps for 2 weeks, then 3 reps for 2 weeks, then I'll go like 8 reps for 2 weeks, maybe a 4 or 2 rep max for 2 weeks, then I'll do a 6, and just keep working our way back and forth. So like you kind of have like higher volume weeks with higher strength weeks and kind of go ebb and flow there. I've bumped it all the way to 20. So last 2 weeks have been 3 rep maxes. This week we're bumping back up to 15. I believe the 2 weeks after this 15 rep max is like a 6 rep max. Then we go to like 12, 4, 7, 2, 1, whatever, however, I got it all mapped up on my sheet, but it's kind of just ebb and flowing. But we got 15 rep maxes. Haven't done a ton of these higher rep maxes. So initial thought process is you get some hypertrophy work in there. You work some of the things that you aren't as good at. It could be a total failure. You never know, but just done with the 3 rep maxes. I like, regardless of if you're going as high as 15 to 20 reps in your rep maxes, I like after a 3 rep max week, not going full deload, but just working it in a different way to where you're not stressing the same system again. And you can do that week to week too. You don't have to do 2 week blocks of this. I like the 2 week blocks just to get used to it and progress things. But you can do the 3 weeks, and then the next week you can get back up to like a 7 rep max. So you're still working a strength and something heavy, but it doesn't have to be as grindy as a 3 rep max is. And then you can go back down to a 2 rep, then a 5 rep, then maybe you can even go to a 1 rep, and then bring it back up to an 8 rep, but just ebbing and flowing there. And I feel like the wear and tear on an athlete much better. Like you don't get as worn down as you would with the typical rep schemes that we do, where it's like 5, 3, 2, 1, and you're just kind of working away, or you're just progressing in a 3 rep max for as long as possible. And that's one of the ways we kind of work and have that variable approach to our set scheme. And again, my experiment here with these high rep schemes is see if there's any low hanging fruit that I suck at. I know I'm terrible at like 15 rep maxes. It's gonna be bad. So maybe there's something that can progress on those 15 rep maxes that I find out. Maybe it's just a hypertrophy thing, or maybe it's a total waste of time. We'll figure it out. I don't think it's gonna be a total waste of time. Stimulus is still stimulus, but just kind of the thought process behind the 15 rep maxes. Done a couple warm up sets. This is set number 3. Nice. Good little titty popper. Let's go. Then we got these plyo drops here. I've been working on just a different variation of the drop. So instead of falling, I'm just gonna jump into the drop and then rebound out. So just fall into drop, rebound out. I've been kind of messing with this, like I said, the jump into it. It's been kind of spicy. It's fun. I like it. Just a little variation there. But we got 3 of these here. 5 sets of 3. This is 3rd set here. Oh yeah, those feel good. Let's go. All right, then we got impulse rotation here. So I'm just gonna punch, come in here, sticking at that position right here. Again, battling against that immovable object, working on that stick, snap through. I really like the feel of these. Again, when you're done with it, you feel like, fuck yeah, dude, like you're wired up, ready to go. I usually like these with the bat, but I'm working on the kind of setup there. Like when I've been doing the bat, it's this floppy thing kind of gets, when I do the rope, it moves on the bat and then I'll catch a finger and I will fucking rage if I have that happen to me again. And I'm not doing that today. So we're gonna do the punch. Some days we'll go back to that one, but God, it drives me nuts. Dak, if you're watching, you gotta teach me that setup a little bit better. Because when I wrap it and the rope, like it catches slack and then you go and it'll fall and I'll catch a finger in it. Oh my God, bro, it's like stubbing your toe. You just instant rage. So we're gonna do these punches here. 5 of these. Ooh, 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 ooh. Oh, I don't know why I said 5. I just kind of go for feel there. I feel like the pulse is kind of gone. Ooh, 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 ooh. Oh. Shattered that. 3rd set, did not love that. So it's a good way to end those. Nice. Damn, that thing's totally shattered. Rip. On to the next. Then our spine movement today is gonna be these little, I'm gonna back up just a little bit for the camera. These little spine side bends here. We're gonna take the PVC pipe, bend to the side, really try to rotate through, just like this. Oh yeah, I'm gonna come back here. Just 6 of these. Again, small doses of some of this spine work. Does not have to be crazy. Doesn't have to be anything magical. Just move the spine in a different way. Get some reps in. You'd be amazed at how much better you feel. Once we get to a point where we need to scale it, we need to train it a little bit more specifically, we need to load it up a little bit more, we can get there. But so many people are just at a point where exercises like this, they're not at a level to where this won't not give them results. I don't think I worded that the best way, but like this is a high enough stimulus for a lot of people to create real change just because they're not moving their spine at all. You're stuck in a desk, stuck hunched over all day. You've had back issues in the past. Simple things like exercises like this can really change the way that you move. And from there, man, then we can get spicy. Once you start feeling better, feeling silkier when you move, man, then we can take it to the moon because you feel better. If an athlete feels better when they're lifting, when an athlete feels better when they're training, like they're ready to do anything. And it's not even like a physiological thing. A lot of it's just like psychologically, they feel better, they feel more capable, they feel more able, and they're able to go do things and explore different movement patterns. And man, you can't, at that point, it's such an easy job to be a coach because they believe in what they can do and you just put things in front of them and they're like, fuck yeah, I can go do that. But you just got to get them there, and getting them there can be as simple as exercises like that where they feel their spine bending in a different way and they're like, oh my God, this feels amazing. My back hasn't felt this good in a while. What else can I do? From there, we got them hooked, right? That's Kool-Aid. So let's go. All right, set 2 here. I know a lot of bodybuilders will look at like 15 rep max, bro. Like, what are you talking about? Like all we do is here at 20 rep maxes all day. And then that might not be a lot of high reps for some people. But from the sports performance world, the strength training world, the kind of athletic world, like there was a time period where I probably never went above a 5 rep max for probably 4 years ever. Like, I mean, maybe some curls, we did some high rep stuff, but in a main movement, never, man. We never went above a 5 rep max. Sometimes we do like drop sets, where it'd be like an AMRAP after a 3 rep max, but even then it was maybe 8 reps. So like a lot of the stuff of the sports performance sector of the world is a lot of reps, right? And that's why I just feel like there's a lot of, again, there's a lot of low-hanging fruit there for, like, we even had we have our athletes run through the same stuff that we're running through right now. And from the outside, you're like, why are you having to do like bodybuilding type 15 rep max movements? And again, it is an experiment, so I'm not gonna sell my soul to there, but I just feel like there's so much low-hanging fruit with the hypertrophy aspect, with maybe it's even just a technical aspect, the ability to continue to produce power after a certain amount of reps, or strength after a certain amount of reps. But and you have the piece where it's just a little bit of a, I don't want to call it a deload, but I don't know how to the best way, where you're not grinding the same reps, 3 rep max every single week. But I just feel like there's so much there for athletes that suck at it, and it's what opened my eyes when I saw them. We were doing, I think, like a 12 rep max, and these athletes were just getting absolutely bodied by it. Same, I was as well, but it was an eye opener, like, okay, maybe there's something we can play around with in this rep scheme, and see how we can take it. So again, it's going to be a full experiment at the end of it. If it's not amazing, it's not amazing, but I think it will. I think there'll be a lot of cool things that we get out of it. So set number 2 here. Oh yeah, easy. Let's go. Running a little bit low on time, so we're gonna make some big jumps. Probably be the last set here. Ripped 3 rounds. This is like, I think, 6th total set of the bench, all at 15 reps. So that's pretty good volume. I would say 3 hard working sets, and got all the accessories done, and with the first set, and we'll kind of go from here. But this will be a good little 225 banger after all that volume at this two-plate incline. For some reason, I feel like I'm a little bit stronger in the 2-plate incline than I was at the 1-plate. I felt like I was getting rips at the 1-plate incline. This 2-plate incline, it's almost like the shoulders can take over just a little bit more. But talking a lot of shit before I bench, might get humbled really quick here. Oh yeah. So that's the infamous Welty cluster right there. Anytime you don't finish your sets, you just yell cluster, hop back in. I'm gonna slingshot it, still rolling, straight shot here. Finish up those reps. Maybe hit a couple more, or get bodied after a couple. My tits are so sore. All right, here we go. Come on. Oh, yeah. Oh, man, we are gassed. It's gonna be a lot of self-discovery in those high rep schemes. My titties gassed out so fast. But it's good, feels good. Again, never really done the whole bodybuilding world of things. The only time I ever really trained anything high reps was we were doing some combine stuff, and we're building up our 225 rep max. And that was the only time we really ever did any high rep. And even that was like once a week for like 3 weeks, maybe. But I kind of like that pump feeling you get, you know? Never went the full Meathead pump route in there. It's always been strength and sports performance. But kind of like that feel there a little bit. Obviously, a lot to work on there. But we'll get to the rest of the accessories and keep ripping, keep shredding. Good day so far. Let's go. A little crawl handstand variation for today. Just 2-minute frog stand hold. I call these frog stands, really not sure why. I'm not even sure if it's the right term, but basically like a headstand without the head in place, a little kickstand hold. 2 minutes. I ripped this one this morning with the squad, but I want to show you guys what this one is. Really good for the hands, again, wrists, shoulders, elbows, and working on that balance point of the handstand without having to go full handstand up into it. But again, this is our crawl handstand variation for the day, mid-workout, right here. Let's get in on those hands. Find that balance point, and we're holding this position here. Traps and upper back. Oh, that was shitty. Traps and upper back really get on fire here. Boom, just like that. So we got a 2-minute hold there. Then we got a shoulder stretch with this one. I already did the shoulder stretch already, but I'll show you guys that one just because I'm such a great guy, amazing coach. I know, by program, especially you, Welty. We'll show the shoulder stretch and then we'll just little arm farm pump. Then we'll hit this consult. Let's do it. We got a little 2-minute stretch here. Grabbing the band from behind the back here, letting it pull that hand up, almost handcuffing yourself in the back, keeping that shoulder blade back. You stretch that neck just a little bit here. In this position, I'll flip around and kind of show you what that position looks like from the back end. I've seen Medicine Through Movement grab a barbell, hold this position too. I think that's also money. But yeah, feels good. Feel a good little stretch. Again, I like this stuff after the bench. Little mobility stuff after the bench, a lot of crawl stuff after the bench, things that get that shoulder moving, and the bench kind of locks it in that linear position, and I'm not against moving the shoulder in that linear position. I don't think shoulder issues come from the bench press or the overhead press, right? It's not the linear position that is the issue. It's the only doing that linear position, only moving in that straight line that is the issue. It's not the fact that the straight line is bad at all. It's not the fact that the bench press is bad or the shoulder press is bad because it's only one line of movement. It's that you never train the shoulder through the range of motion it's supposed to be trained in, right? So if you never train in that motion and the only option you got is here, when you start getting stuck in other positions, of course your shoulder's gonna feel like shit. You trained your shoulder to feel like shit, right? You trained your shoulder to never be able to go into, like, let's say this side position or caught in that front position, especially if you're playing sports caught behind you and you never trained it, you never went there, and then you're like, well, my shoulders are bad, it must be the bench press. Let's throw some bench savers on. The shoulder saver bench press, God, bro, that is the stupidest device I've ever seen. Like, what are we talking about? You're gonna limit the range of motion on your shoulders, right? Like, you already have shoulders that don't move, right? They don't move because you don't change the range of motion that they have, right? And now you're gonna limit that even more. You're just compensating so you continue to bench the same weight that you could do before. It's just a huge compensation. At our college, we bought a bunch of the shoulder savers and that was our fucking thing. It's like, we're gonna save their shoulders on the bench press. This such a silly, simple argument. It's so stupid. I adamantly disagree with that. If you want to have a shoulder that moves through, I should look at the camera when I say this so I can clip this out. If you want to have a shoulder that moves through a full range of motion, move your shoulder through a full range of motion and train it to be able to do so, right? Okay, so I'll show you the other right here. So we're just grabbing from behind here, keeping that shoulder blade back, letting that hand drift all the way up. The right shoulder much tighter than the left one here. Just like that. We just got a 2-minute hold. There. Boom. All right, other accessories, let's go. And because I'm a big Olympic lifter now, huge Olympic lifting guy, we got snatch grip, bent over rows here. So we're just going wide grip, bent over rows from the pad here. Bent over rows are a position that honestly, I'm not against them, but I don't totally love them for all of my athletes. Just because I don't think they've prepared. And I think a bent over row kind of in their head triggers the thought process of, oh, I need to use a lot of weight. And they're just not ready for that much weight being held in that bent over position. So like strokes, their ego needs to be stroked because it's a lift everybody can watch and it's a barbell, right? And then they're not getting a ton of back work done. It just kind of turns into like this folded up position, half range of motion. So I like to add little variations to the bent over row position before we get into a full bent over row. But again, I think a bent over row is a beautiful exercise. It's like fucking, what's a more like caveman strength thing than picking something off the ground and throwing it up, right? So I really love that approach to it. I just think a lot of times when you always program bent over rows, it just turns into a meathead fest. And even these snatch grips kind of turned into a meathead fest with our athletes this morning. A little bit of like, we're just using a little bit too much. And again, it's not the worst thing in the world. I just don't think it's my everyday exercise for the back if I'm trying to actually train it or feel something or do anything. And I think it's an exercise that definitely, if you have lower back pain, can not be your friend if you're not used to it. Again, not that the exercise is bad, but if you're not used to it, a lot of times you want to stroke your ego, and a person that should be just doing probably an empty barbell or dumbbells is throwing 45s on and 135. I'm like, I rode fucking 225 today. No, you didn't. You humped 225. Again, that's not even the worst thing in the world. I like that caveman access to it, and I love the meathead reps that you can get with them. I just, not my number one back exercise that I got. So, gonna be here, 8 reps, rowing. Let's go. So after the speech of them not being my favorite thing because sometimes they can turn into meathead reps. I'm gonna show some meathead reps and just do a whole meathead rep set here too. Just show that, again, it's not that it's a fear thing or that I'm against it, just not my favorite exercise. Again, not having a favorite exercise and having favorite exercises is different than having a best exercise and a worst exercise, or a bad exercise and a good exercise, right? So I'm not against meatheading it. I enjoy meatheading these rows, and I know athletes enjoy meatheading the rows too, which is why I think it's one of the negatives that can go into it, because they shouldn't be a lot of times, especially if they do. They're a very compressed athlete that doesn't handle it very well. But again, I don't want that to be, and I didn't feel like it was a fear-mongering thing, but I don't want it to be a fear-mongering thing anyway. So I'm gonna hit set here, meathead these. Yeah, let's go. You can go a little bit heavier there even. Let's go. Woo! Then our biceps, this is honestly one of my favorite bicep variations. You get a big chest stretch in there. Feels like you're opening up the spine a little bit, but just prone. Literally just prone here, laying flat on the back. Let it stretch all the way down into this position here. Then we're curling up, just like that. Feels like the biceps tearing off the bone at the end of this, but this is the real full range of motion here. Just like that. Oh, we got 15 of them. Oh, yeah, let's go. I don't want to call this one a failed exercise per se, but it's different. Wasn't really what I was thinking about going into it, but we got prone, overhead, tricep extensions. I saw these on Range of Strength, posted a really old lifting book that had these in them. And the shoulder mobility challenge in here is crazy, but it's almost too much to where I need to regress this exercise more to really get what I feel like I should get out of it. But it was a fun little experiment. It feels good. Still feels like it's just less triceps than I would have predicted for them calling it a overhead tricep extension. But the shoulder mobility here is pretty spicy. So coming here, wrapping the legs across, coming back, pressing forward. Yeah, again, I don't know if that's an exercise I'd totally recommend just yet, but it doesn't mean I'm throwing it out. I'm still gonna work on it. Range, if you're working, if you're watching right now, I think it's just because I suck at it, but we'll continue to progress and regress them. The shoulder mobility challenge here is pretty spicy. I like that aspect of it, but I don't know if it gives me the tricep pump I really need and feel right now. It's 60 degrees outside. We might rip off the tarp today outdoors. We need those triceps popping. So let's get to the next thing. Let's go. Then last thing we got for today, it's our little core hip flow. We got a plate, 5-pound plate. We got a ball. Only goal is to get up off the ground without tipping the ball off, right? So just a little bit of focus. I really like these with our athletes. Just stillness through movement, focusing, keeping it up, just like that. All right, I'm gonna back up a little bit. We're gonna get to the ground, and every rep has to be just a little different. So we're gonna left hand here. Oh no, see I would have lost there. We're just playing with different movements here. Oh, just like that. Again, this might be the woo-woo-y side of me. I understand that's there. I understand not everything I say is totally factual or true, but I do like the stillness practice, right? Slowing down movements, flowing through some things, feeling some things just a little bit differently, the concentration piece. I think there's some aspect of it there that is important. You can even call it a little bit of balance, just like that. But also getting in a ton of hip mobility. I try to balance my woo-iness with something that has some sort of practical application. So we would do get-ups anyways, naturally, just to get that hip position, getting on and off the ground, I think is an important piece of the puzzle. And these 90-90 hip positions, you can work on that wide position here. So I think the practical side is there, but adding in non-practical things to the practical side is a good way of balancing your woo-woo-y experiments with actually getting work done so you don't go full Seedman. We're going fingertip here. No, fuck. You guys didn't see that? I'll cut it. What about a pinch grab? I could go pinch grab here. Nice, good little day. Oh, that's a day right there. 50 minutes, hour-long workout. When the baseball guys come back, typically what I'll do is just get a little bit more volume in and just keep pumping, but that's just more so for fun for me. I'm not gonna come back and do a ton of workouts other than when I have to be here. For coaches, that's a hack. Or do some workouts when your athletes are there, right? Get some of the stuff done that takes too much of your time if you have to split your workouts up, because it's 60 degrees outside and I don't wanna be indoors for any longer, right? I'm gonna go outside and get my sunlight in, get my swings in, get a little, like a 2-hour-long walk in today. It's gonna be beautiful, just beautiful. I'm not gonna spend that all day indoors, but I'll come back, hit a little bit more volume, but it's great lift. I feel fucking good. I need to time up my lifts better like this to where I'm getting them done within an hour. Because I feel much better. Otherwise, sometimes the 2-hour days, I feel like fucking absolutely gassed. But man, I don't even know how to do that, because when I start my lower days, I just get so into the sprints or jumps or the snatches that that's 2 hours by itself. And then the rest of it, I'm like, oh my God, bro. The actual hack there would just be move lower accessories onto a different day just so I can get it all in, which honestly, I might start doing, because Friday, I don't love sometimes the unstructuredness for myself on that Friday. And I've been trying to grind out the workouts and not miss anything. So then typically I have stuff to do on Friday because I haven't been able to get it all in throughout the week, but I've been getting it all in throughout the week. And then Friday just kind of turns into that impulse lackadaisical day. So I might bump some accessories to Friday, not yet this week. Actually, we'll see. We'll see what tomorrow looks like, but that might be a little experiment just as I'm free flowing, free talking here, just so I can leave feeling like this every day and feeling. Not that you have to feel amazing every workout, like you'll still feel gas in the lower body, but it's more that mental fatigue where it's like, I know I physically have a lot more, but I just want to go home, or I just know I have work, and it's like, fuck dude, like let's keep, we got to keep rolling. It's 4 p.m. and we're still at the gym. What are we doing? So yeah, I'm gonna go grab a coffee. I'm gonna go rip this consult. Building out the coaching corner right now, which I'm really excited for. Coaching corner, the goal of that is to all these consults just pile into like group sessions and do two meetings a month with like a group of coaches. And I just go through the mentorship program. We talk about their problems. We talk about the things that I want to talk about. But I've been thoroughly enjoying that consulting process and like helping people. Like I feel like that for me right now in my journey, that is something that wakes me up in the morning, is like when I have one of these consults and I can hear the like fired upness in somebody else's voice. And I just feel like it's just, to me right now, slightly more important than telling somebody like how to curl differently, right? So being a coach's coach, as sellout-y as that is, I understand why a lot of people are transitioning into that route. So obviously there's more money there as well, but for me, I don't know. I like it. I like that conversation piece. I like that creativity piece. I like its life-changing piece, and getting out of the small thinking world of the biomechanics of a curl, right? So that's one of the nice things about my gym, is I don't really have a bunch of athletes that are super focused on those things. If I had to work like with bodybuilders or powerlifters all day, I would go fucking nuts. It's just not how my brain works. A little bit more of a big thinking, big dreaming guy, and then the small details. And that's not a good thing or a bad thing. Like you need that's one thing I've been realizing recently, not recently, within the past like 4 years, 5 years, is you need articulate, high detailed people that focus on the small things, and you need big stupid dreamers that just fucking shout out the first idea that comes into their brain, and you need a little bit of people in the middle that can distill these people with these people and bring something in. I think I'm probably the spectrum. This is middle, this is high detail, this is high dreaming, this is the middle. I'm probably like here, right? This is the full dreamers that don't do shit because all they do is dream. But I got a little bit of that middle ground, but definitely far away from that smart articulate side. And I think learning yourself, like learning who you are and learning what your skill set is very important. Not what somebody tells you your skill set should be. What is your actual skill set? What are the things you're interested in? And then go and capitalize on them. For a long time, I really tried to make myself a high detail, small detail person, because the mentors and coaches I surrounded myself with were those people. They were very meticulous, like small details, really small things. And I'm like, fuck, dude, if I want to be successful, I got to be on their level. I got to focus on those things. And I was such an average version of myself because I'm not good at those things. And that's not to say don't work on things that you're not good at, but it's just like I could spend the rest of my life working on that skill set and I'm just going to be above average. I'll become an above average small detail person when I could spend all of that energy here and become one of one Elon Musk territory in the creativity aspect, the fucking crazy brain aspect, right? So put your money into things that are high return for you. That doesn't mean never avoid those things. Like, especially when I didn't have enough resources to outsource what I wasn't very good at, I had to focus on some of those small details. But again, I'm taking energy away from things that I'm really good at, things that can change the world, to spend them on things that anybody can do, or somebody else can do, or an intern can do, right? So that just doesn't make sense. The return on investment doesn't make sense right there. So right now my goal is to outsource everything that is small detail, outsource all the things that I'm not good at, and spend all of my energy on these big things so that I can be one of one and can focus. And again, the other side is absolutely true too. Like, I know very articulate, small detail coaches that just, like, they read a study and they're like on the fucking N of whatever over, this is what happened here, this was the issue. And they like, man, I just wish I was creative like you. I just wish I could just like put things out there. I'm such a perfectionist. Like, all these, like, bro, you have a massive skill set and ability to go do things that I could never do. I would rather jump off a bridge than do the things that you're talking about doing, and you do them for fun. Like, just double down on that. Stop thinking about what I'm doing. Just double down on that and then go put your work out there, right? So it works on both sides. Double down on the things that you're good at, double down on the things that you can get a high return on your investment in, and you can be the best in the world at. And those are your individual skill sets. I always bring this up because it's like, when I brought intern Henry here for the summer, I realized he calls himself an introvert, but he's really not. He loves people. He always talks. He always wants to hang out. But at the sessions, he would talk to everybody. He'd be fucking on crack when he left the sessions, and I would leave these sessions. I always leave the sessions just drained, just because it's my personal time. I'm a massive introvert. I need like 4 hours after every interaction, no matter how much I enjoy that interaction. I would leave the sessions drained, and he would leave the sessions like a crackhead. And I just looked, I'm like, if I tried to compete with intern Henry on the session aspect of things, like where I'm having in-person sessions every single day for 8 hours a day, somebody like intern Henry would run me under the fucking bridge, bro. He would wreck me because he's amazing at it. He gets fired up about it. He's a very person's person. Everybody loves him in that sense. And I would just turn into a grumpy old fucking man, even more than I already am. Like, I would just turn into a grumpy asshole because I'm trying to run my square peg into a circular hole and just trying, pause, God, just trying to fit myself into something that is not me. And again, so I realized that, work on the online aspect, work on the big thought process aspect, and just focus on what you're good at, and you'll make much more progress in life, I believe. That's my philosophy. You make your own philosophy, again, but my philosophy, hopefully there's something there. And I appreciate you guys all for listening. I'm gonna go crush this coffee and get a little consult in. And maybe record some of those swings outdoors. I'll for sure record some swings outdoors, first time outdoors. Let's do it, let's go.